How you doing, everybody? Sound okay? Okay. Hey, Javi and John and Geezer and Junior. Junior got a shot. Joseph, great to see you guys. Um, well, uh, well, let me tell you something about. I've had a very strange week, and getting a watch is basically two things. Hi, Mark. One thing is getting the money. Okay, you got to save it up or somehow get your hands on it, and then you have to decide which watch you want. Now, this can be difficult, and what I found is that it's a contingency, and you'd think, well, all you got to do is go find one and online or go down to your AD, more likely these days to find something online and get the watch you want. Well, there's a watch I wanted since even before I started collecting watches. It was my favorite watch for years, but I always found something I liked better or didn't have this or that. And so I found one. I found the one I wanted. Hi, Mark. And so the what I did is that I wanted to sell some watches. I had too many watches, and I just thought, well, I'll sell some. And they were watches I really liked, but I thought, well, what I'll do, I'll trade them in. Maybe I can get enough on a trade-in to make it worthwhile. Hey, Tim. So I thought, well, I'll start with one and put it up for sale. And like I said, there was this online store that I found that had a decent price for the watch I wanted. So I contacted them, and I contacted them directly. If they're in the US, it was usually, I figure, well, it's a lot easier to do it more directly. And so that's what I did. So I contacted these guys and I said, well, I've got these two watches I want to trade in, and I want to get this one. And so let's see what we can do. So anyway, the guy was saying, well, let's see the watches. So I took a bunch of pictures and told them all about it and so forth. And they were sort of like, I don't know. And they gave me a couple prices on it. And they were, way less than what I could get for the watch if I sold it on its own. So I thought, well, this is sort of nuts. So what I'll do, so I contacted the guy, said, look, why don't we do this? I'll just go out and sell the watches, and then I'll come back and I'll get these. And so the guy said, he said, yeah, that's a good idea. Because they don't want to, if they trade something in, then they got to sell it and everything else. And it's a lot easier for them too, unless they really need watches and they need stock or something. So I said, all right. So I thought, well, I did everything I needed to sell a watch online. I thought, well, rather than starting with both of them, I'll just try one and see what happens and see the kind of reaction I get and so forth. And while I was doing this, I'm always sort of have my eye out for a watch. And so I found this watch that was one I didn't think you could find. In fact, I found two of them. This is great. Now, they were about the same price, roughly in the same price range as the one that I had been negotiating with. And I figured, well, what I'll do is that I'll get them. And then when I get the money from from selling my watch, and I can, balance everything out. Okay. So there were the two that were for sale were both overseas. And nothing wrong. I've dealt with overseas before, and it's sometimes things go relatively smooth. The other time, it's just a pain in the neck. You never know what's going to happen. So whenever I deal, especially overseas, I go through Chrono 24, and then if you something happens, and this has happened before, you get your money back. And so I figured, okay, well, the two that were for sale, one was brand new, and that was very rare. So I thought, well, okay, I'll see about that one. This was in Europe. The guy was selling it, and he was an individual seller. Oh, he wasn't a business. And I felt a little uneasy about that because I'm one too. I guess I'm thinking of next time I sell a watch, I'm going to do it through my business rather than through the individual. Okay, so hang on a second. Let me see. Let me greet some people. Tim, Anthony, Andrew, Carl. Hey, Carl. Watch Habit, and Clyde. Hey, Clyde, by the way, did you get my email? I sent you some stuff. You had sent me a thing, and I sent something back, and just wanted to know if you got it, able to take a look at it. Okay, tell them my watch story. Hi, Maurizio, how you doing? So anyway, so I of the two, I thought, well, the one in Europe and there was one in Asia. So I thought, well, the one in Asia was an established and sort of verified by Chrono 24s. These were good guys, and if you bought something from them, they'd send it, and they would. So I thought, well, I'll do that. Okay. So, hi, Mr. Gumby and Zeus. How you doing? So, the amount that they had. Now, whenever I buy something online, I go through. I use my credit card. Okay. And that way I don't have to mess around with wiring money or anything like that, which I'd really rather not do. And then when I get something with the credit card gets charged. The money that I've saved for the watch, and then I just pay off the credit card, so there's no credit card charges or anything. And this usually goes to some kind of deal with PayPal. It works, whatever it is, and I've done it before. Apparently, what started though is that this was about $1,500 under the limit of my credit card. So I thought, well, that shouldn't be a problem, man. So I contacted this company, and I put everything up, and I didn't even because this watch was so cool, I didn't even try to wangle with them. I just didn't. What normally I would, but in this case, I thought, heck with it. This is an unbelievably good price. It's even more unbelievably good watch, and rare. So I started, talking to them. So they sent me a price that had added the shipping cost plus what else did they send? Oh yeah, the sales tax. And I said, sales tax? I thought, man, that's what are you charging sales tax for? This is an international kind of thing. I have to solve. Well, apparently, I guess that's what the states are doing now. The states that charge sales tax are going through Chrono 24. Well, the sales tax they charged was about 1.5% more than what our sales tax is. So I thought, man, this is nuts. So by the time they piled up everything, along with the shipping, along with the sales tax, it went over the limit of my credit card. Because I have the credit card I have is what I can use for watches is a lot less than a regular one. I think a regular one we could buy a small town with, but the one, and I have to do this for myself. So I told them, I said, look, guys, this is sort of nuts. We're not very far. We're just like $100 apart on a watch. And the thing was way more than that. So they said, no, we're not going to do it. So I tell you what, I said, you've got a gator strap on that. So why don't we do this? Just take off the amount that the gator strap is, and that ought to bring it back down below. So they said, okay, so we'll do that. So they gave me something on the gator strap. And then I just, get one over here, not even mess with the gator strap at all on that. And so then it was still over the amount. All right. Anyway, I was in this, so this is sort of was almost Kafkaesque. So then I checked the exchange rate, and the exchange rate they had was way over what the exchange rate was. Now, this is weird. I'm getting overcharged on the sales tax, which I'm surprised that this is coming from a international thing, because they're going to get customs is going to take a bite too. So this was getting nutsier and nutsier. So I explained to him. I said, we're not going to drop the price anymore. Fine, goodbye. And so I thought, this is nuts. Now let me tell you the other part of it too. When things first were getting sort of goofy, and I realized with all of this extras that they were piling on there, I remembered there was that other one, that European company, wasn't a company, it was an individual who had one. So I thought, okay, I'll go back there and see if I can get the same watch, which happened to be new, from this other guy. Got there and it said reserved. So I thought, okay. By the time I had finished negotiating, okay, and I just sort of said, guys, we can't do this. This is a matter of very little money. I know how much you're going to make on a watch, which is a lot more than this pittance that you're jacking me up on. Plus the fact that the exchange rate was way off. And I even, went through the daily exchange rate and showed them what it was. I showed them what the tax was, and I showed them what this is what it should be. And they were, can't do it. Okay. So then, this is true. This is how nuts things got. So I thought, heck with it. All right. So then I go back, and I'm sort of feeling sorry for myself, because this is really a nice watch. I'll always go back. I can go back to this other guy, the first one I was at, and get that other watch, which wasn't the greatest watch in the world, but it was. I really liked it a lot. So I. Okay, so then I see this watch, and I'm just sort of monkeying around, and I see this watch, and the price on it is about half of the list price, and it says unworn. Not only is this watch something I've always wanted, and I hadn't even looked at them because they were so up here, and this was something that was, with what I call hand grenade range. So I thought, whoa. So now this time, I tracked down the seller, and it was somebody I knew, and so I sent him an email, and I said, look, I want to get a watch from you. Can we make a deal on this? He says, sure. So he gave me a price. I said, look, that's not going to work. Okay, just a little too high. And he said, there's nothing I can do about it. Here's what happened. And this is where you can find incredible deals. The watch company had, I guess, one of its distributors had either gone broke or something happened, but they got the watches back. But it had been out in the shop, so it was somewhat shop worn. They couldn't sell it as a new watch. They could sell it as an unworn watch, but it knocked off. I mean, it was like, I think it turned out exactly 58% of what the first price was. And so I figured out, and then he said, not only can I not negotiate with you, because this is a deal that I have directly with the manufacturer, he says, I can't do it with a credit card. You got to wire the money. This is somebody since I knew who it was, and I knew where I could go get them if I had to, and I would. I said, sure, okay, I'll see if I can scare up the funds for this thing. So I did. Now, the thing about wiring money, if you don't know who it is, don't ever do it. I've done that before and I was lucky. But, once somebody's got your money, you can kiss it goodbye if they're not, on the up and up. But this guy is. So, but I didn't know how to wire money. Normally, what I do, I go down to my bank and, they got everything there is like COVID safe and this and that. And you got to make an appointment, go through all this stuff. So I thought, well, I'll see if I can figure out how to do it myself. And I did. So I wired him. So ended up with this watch. I had no idea that this in the watches is one of these watches that is so. It was one of they were so expensive, first of all, and they were right at the sort of the tippy edge of what I could gather enough for. And it all happened because of so many things that I had absolutely no control over. And this is why I said, this, you don't know what you're going to end up with. I started off looking for one kind of watch, and took a break from that to go sell these watches. But during that time, I found this watch that was just like, finding a holy grail for me. And I didn't know it existed. I knew it existed. I didn't know there were any around. And I found two. And I went to one place, couldn't work that out. The other place, the thing was reserved. And get this, once I'd finished it, I went back to it just to check it out, and it wasn't reserved anymore. So anyway, so after I made this deal, this morning, I got this. Oh wait, was it this morning or yesterday morning? I got this email from the place that I had negotiated that wouldn't come down to within the range that I could buy it. And it came down. And I told them, I said, look, you guys, I had told you again and again and again that I had a certain limit and I couldn't go beyond that limit. And now you tell me, okay, here it is. But then I bought another watch. It's like nuts. This is why, there are these, I don't know, I think it's in Roman mythology or something where you have the witches work your fate out. There's a German one too that are like Norts, and they have these people just sort of working you. And that was how I ended up with this incredible watch. So anyway, this is why I call it, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your watch buying plans. I don't know. Am I the only one this weird stuff happens to? Like this morning, I was telling about this one out of the blue. This guy comes and he tells me, "Oh, that watch you want? They have this bank in Qatar or Oman or someplace like that." Right? And that's how I ended up with it. Hi, Nino. How you doing, man? Andrew, how are you? Anyway, despite the fact that it's difficult to do, sometimes it's best to walk away from the deal. Yeah, no, sometimes watch habit, that is so true. It's like it's almost, you got some magical thing working, I'm seeing these witches, like, this isn't the one you're going to get, but we found this one for you, which you would rather have. And they were right. I didn't, when you quit looking at something, so you don't beat yourself up. I mean, there are a lot of watches I'd love to have, but I just know that I can't afford them. And so I don't look at them. And, yeah, Carl, on the credit card, it wasn't the exchange rates on the credit card. That was the other thing. But what's happened with credit card, especially with my bank, they charge out the yin-yang for having a translation, it's a foreign exchange, like, not a little, a whole lot. And so I wasn't even going to worry about that. I put it down because that wouldn't go against my charge card. But sometimes I tell you the fates, I swear they're out there and they work on you. I don't know. Hey Joseph, won't you reveal the brand, model, and caliber of the watch you bought? Oh, that's the other part too. I'm superstitious. I don't know about you guys, but until I have it in my paws, I'm not saying okay, because that'll jinx it. I mean, look what happened to me. I had no idea that I was going to end up with a watch, and I end up with it, and there are things that work beyond what I have no control over, none whatsoever. But then, there are bad things that happen and then incredibly good things. And it's like, wow, weird. Hey Tim, how you doing, man? So anyway, that's once I get my watch, I'll have a little video about it and stuff. And it's because not until then. Otherwise, if I don't get it, if something goes south on this one, I don't know what. I think I'll go get a smartwatch or something. So, has anything ever happened to you guys like that? You're just sort of going along. You're trying to. It's kismet. Yeah, there you go, Corbin. That's what it is. It's something that just, it's just weird. Watch habit. No, what it. I'll let you know once I get it. Okay. Your hand grenade range at the moment. That's another thing. This is something. By hand grenade range, there's certain things I guess you have to figure what's going to cost more of the watch. I was telling the guy I bought it from, I said, my God, there's going to be some divorce lawyer licking his chops when they see what I'm getting. Oh boy, this will be great. I don't know. But the funny thing is, though, is that I had no idea. The watch I end up with, I hadn't looked at for a long time because, like I said, it was like they're way up there. And this one just sort of, is sort of come down. Let me say something about this. There's a saying, I think it was Louis Pasteur. It was by him. He said, fortune favors the prepared mind. And that is true. It's like, unless I knew what that watch normally sold for and what it was and the quality and everything else, I would have never known it was a great deal. And when you see something brand new, of course, the first thing you want to do is, what happened? It fell off the truck, or something's going on, or it's like somebody's not up to no good. But it wasn't. It was those things happen. And the place, the online place is called shopworn.com. Man, they used to have the best watches, but pretty soon watch collectors got wise to it and took all the good ones. That was where I got my Parmigiani, Parmigiani hemisphere. I got that for the greatest price ever. But then is that people found out that they had Parmigianis in addition to some stuff that was so actually there's some watches on the sort of standard horology watches there that are quite good and that I'm always tempted with. But it's just really weird. Yeah, Nino. Yeah, you ponder what this is something though. What Watch Habit said is so true. Sometimes you just gotta walk away, and oftentimes that turns out to be the best strategy. Here's another thing that happened. Always, always, always be nice, and I'll tell you why. The company that I had told, like, look, guys, this is what happened, and I was very nice to them, very respectful, and I said, well, I would have loved to have got that from you, but you wouldn't budge on it. The other thing I found out that it wasn't them. it was Chrono 24. Chrono 24 sets the sales tax. And I talked to another guy who's in the business, and he said, look, he said, if they're doing that, you should contact them and tell them. But, here's where they sort of did it to themselves, because I did everything through Chrono 24, including all the communications, that they knew exactly what was going on. And I hope they made some adjustment, because they also set the rate. And, I took a screenshot of the rate and showed them that they were off several $100s. And I'm sure that the dealers saw that. And I hope that Chrono 24 saw it, say, look, you guys, we're not a bunch of idiots that you're dealing with. We understand how that works. We understand, we understand exchange rates. We understand math. Sometimes we might have to take our shoes off, but we understand those things. So if you're going to do it right. Now, what I think is this. I think that ever since Chrono 24 decided to start charging sales tax, what they also decided was, look, we're going to have to get that sales tax and put it aside and send it to the different states, and that's going to cost us money. So we're going to charge extra. We're going to charge over and above what the sales tax actually is for that. I don't know if they're doing that or not. But the thing is, they start doing that too much, and they're going to lose sales, which is bad for them, bad for the seller, and bad for the buyer. And in my case, it was, bad for all of us. But like I was saying, be really nice, because then I got an email this morning from the company and said, gee, we're sorry about that. The things didn't work out, and so on and so forth. And I said, look, you guys, I would have loved to have done business with you and everything else. I said, it's fine. I said, maybe in the future we can go ahead. But I said, this is the limit. I was upfront about it. I told you about it. And, for whatever reason, they couldn't go along with it. And I think they may have think, oh, this guy's trying to, to bargain with us. And so this is what this is what I suppose we simply have to recognize it. Okay. Sometimes the seller and the buyer are separated not by each other, but by a third party who is, again, the service that Chrono 24 has is invaluable. If you can buy a watch from Timbuktu and knowing that if you don't get the watch you want, you get your money back, that's great. And the guy in Timbuktu says, wow, who's going to trust me? I want to sell my watch. It's a sundial, but I want to sell it. Sell it to someone. Hey, Phil. Hi, offline, online. When it comes to a really niche brands, the buyers, us, have all the power. No. I wish we did. Yeah, no, these are not. There's the difference between a niche brand. Yeah, this is something else too. And I'm glad you brought that up offline, online. Is that I think there's sort of, and I don't mean this as an insult, but there's some really oversimplified ways that they want to divvy things up. Like they talk about a micro brand. Well, what's a micro brand? Someone could say, well, we'll do it on the number. They only sell X number of watches, and so they're a micro brand. There's something different there. You take someone like Kerry Boot and Launen, they don't sell too many. Okay, but they're not a micro brand. Neither is FP Journe. Neither is H. Moser. Neither is Harbring 2. They're not micro brands. They're smaller and exclusive, and oftentimes more expensive. So, it's I don't know. It's really weird. Okay, Clyde. Yeah, you and I got to talk a little later about that. Okay. Oh, let's see. Let's have a contest. Guess Bill's watch. Be my guest. You guys can guess. You can do that, Joseph. Um, my guess is that's not a bad guess. Joseph, got to tell you something else that's going on at the same time. Um, right at the same time, all of this stuff happened. This is okay, Mark. You know, I know my time's up. Okay, I'll just take a few more minutes, and then I got a boogie. Um, and that's because you guessed the Parmigiani Ionica, which I love, by the way. Here's what happened with that. While this is all going on, after the first one, sort of like, yeah, I can't do that. I got this notice from Christie's that they're having a New York auction and watch it. So I thought, well, I'll go take a look. Now, this is something I've done before. And if I'm lucky, I'll get a really good watch doing this. And that is that I'll be the first person to bid. I'll take in the lowest possible bid. And even though they add like a 25% to whatever that, you know, if you're the winning bid, they'll add 25% to that. Then there's shipping charges, and then there's taxes and God knows what else. But, you know, you get it at a really good price. So one of them was a Parmigiani Ionica. So I thought, put that for that. And then there was this Patek Philippe that I liked. So I thought I'll put on that and see if, you know, if I got lucky. So then I end up negotiating with all these other ones that I was doing. And I thought, oh my God, I hope somebody outbids me so I don't have to get it. And they did. And one of them was the Ionica. I had put in such a low, the opening bid was so low that it was below their bottom estimate. And, you know, I figured, oh, you know what, can't hurt. Okay, you're not buying it for them, you're buying it from the owner. So if there's any tax due to Chrono 24, should be based on their service premium. Raj, I don't know. This was the first time I've ever gone through a transaction with Chrono 24 where they come up with a tax. So, plus they keep the gator strap. You're exactly right. But, you know, the gator strap they had, usually the best way, if you got a gator strap and you're going internationally, just put them in a separate envelope. And that way, if they get stopped, they don't get your watch. Have the watch and everything held together with that. Okay, guys. Well, that's my story. and if I get it, believe me, you will hear about it in detail. I got to go talk to a man about a horse now. Take care. Everybody be safe. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side.